What if I told you that decentralized finance, or DeFi, just got as easy as clicking a single button? Well, for anyone holding XRP, which is one of the biggest digital assets in the world, that's not a what if anymore. It just happened. A huge tech update just made everything radically simpler, and it could unlock billions of dollars that have been just sitting there. But that makes you wonder, right? Why was all that money, we're talking nearly $3 billion worth of XRP, just locked out of the entire DeFi ecosystem in the first place? Well, that's the big puzzle we're going to piece together in this explainer.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why all this XRP was sitting on the sidelines. Then, we'll look at the first attempts to build a bridge into DeFi. After that, we'll get to the main event, the one-click breakthrough. We'll even peek under the hood to see how the magic works. And then, we'll wrap up by looking at what this means for the future of DeFi.
All right, let's jump right in. To really get why this update is such a game changer, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the opportunity that was being missed. It's huge. Take a look at that number. Roughly $3 billion. That's over 2 billion XRP tokens just sitting in wallets, like XRPFi, totally cut off from the entire world of decentralized finance. And it wasn't because people didn't want to get involved, it was because something pretty big was standing in their way.
And that something was what we can call the friction problem. I mean, let's be honest, for the average person, using XRP in DeFi was a total headache. You had to juggle at least 2 different wallets for 2 different blockchains, wrap your head around these super complicated bridging steps, and oh yeah, make sure you had the right gas tokens just to make a transaction. It was just too much for most people. So how did we start to fix this? Well, the first attempts were, not perfect, but they were absolutely crucial. They really set the stage for the breakthrough that was coming. It wasn't an overnight fix, it was a series of rapid improvements. And what's really amazing is just how fast everything moved. Back in October 2025, we got the first integration. It worked. You could mint a wrapped version of XRP called FXRP, but it was still clunky. Then, just 2 months later, the idea of smart accounts popped up. And by February 2026, boom, the one-click solution landed and changed everything. It just shows you how fast the space innovates. So this was what you had to do back then. I mean, just look at this. You connect one wallet, then connect another wallet, then jump back to the first wallet to sign something, then switch over to the second one for another signature. It was a 5-step, clunky, confusing process that, let's be real, probably made a lot of people just give up. This was the heart of the issue, what we're calling the 2-wallet problem, forcing a regular user to manage and sign things on 2 separate blockchains with 2 different wallets. It was just too much friction. That door to DeFi, it was basically shut for most XRP holders. Okay, but now we get to the breakthrough. The moment where all that complexity, all that friction, it just melts away. This is where the story gets really, really good. I mean, the difference is just night and day. We went from that complicated 2-wallet mess to this, a one-click solution. Now a user can deposit their XRP straight into a DeFi vault with a single transaction, signed right inside the XRPFi wallet they already use. No second wallet, no manual bridging, no hassle. It's that simple. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The team at Xaman put it perfectly. What used to take 2 wallets on 2 networks now just needs 1 wallet. The one you already know, the one you already trust. This is a massive shift in how people can interact with this stuff. And here's the kicker, the really important part. This amazing simplicity doesn't sacrifice security or control. Not at all. Throughout this whole new process, you, the user, always maintain full self-custody. Your private keys stay yours, anchored to your own account. That's absolutely critical. So you're probably asking, how does this even work? It feels like magic, right? But it's actually just some incredibly clever tech working behind the scenes. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the 2 key ingredients making it all happen. So first, you have what's called an FAsset, in this case, FXRP. The easiest way to think about this is like a digital claim check. It's a wrapped version of your XRP that can live and play on the Flare network. It lets you use the value of your XRP in all sorts of smart contracts and DeFi apps, while your actual XRP stays safe on its own ledger. And the second piece of the puzzle is Flare Smart Accounts. Now this is where the real magic is. This tech uses something called chain abstraction. Think of it like a super smart personal assistant for your crypto. You just tell it what you want to do, your intent, and it goes and handles all the complicated, multi-step, cross-chain stuff for you all in the background. You don't even see it happen. So the new flow is just beautiful. The user just says what they want to do, like, hey, I want to put 100 XRP in this vault, and they sign it one time in their XMN wallet. That's it. From there, Flare systems verify it, and the smart account takes over, doing everything else automatically. It mints the FXRP, puts it in the vault. All you see is the finished result.
Okay, so we've seen the problem, the clunky solution, the amazing breakthrough, and the tech that powers it. So now let's zoom out. What's the real-world impact of all this? Why should we all care?
This chart really tells the story. That huge bar on the left, that's the 2 billion plus XRP just sitting there doing nothing. Now, look at the other bars. Over 100 million have already been turned into FXRP, and over 60 million of that is already being used in DeFi. You can just see the massive, massive potential for growth here. It's barely been tapped.
And the momentum is undeniable. Even before this one-click thing went live, users had already minted over 100 million FXRP. That tells you there is a huge pent-up demand from people who have just been waiting for an easy, safe way to put their assets to work.
And like Hugo Filion, the CEO of Flare, says, this isn't just about one cool feature. This is a major strategic move. It's about building the foundational plumbing for a whole new financial ecosystem around XRP, what people are calling XRPFi. And Flare is positioning itself to be the layer where all of that action happens. So what are the big takeaways? Well, first, complexity is the biggest enemy of adoption in crypto, period. Second, awesome tech like chain abstraction is the answer. It just hides all the hard stuff. And third, when you make DeFi feel simple and native, right inside a wallet people already use, you can unleash a tidal wave of new liquidity and new users. This is the future.
And that really leaves us with a huge question to think about, doesn't it? We just saw how one simple, elegant click can start to unlock nearly $3 billion for just one digital asset. So what happens when all of DeFi becomes this easy for everyone with every asset? Now that is a future that's going to be very interesting to watch.